Okay, this project is inspired by one of Monet's oil paintings from 1899. It was painted in his famous gardens where he had lots of different types of flowers and ponds. This painting was called Bridge Over a Pond of Water Lilies. That's our inspiration today. So we're going to be creating sort of our own version out of crayons and our watercolor crayons. And so for that, you'll need those crayons. And if you don't have one, a white crayon is really great for this. So there's one of those in your kit. So make sure you have a white as well as some other colors. And then those watercolor crayons, grab a page of watercolor paper, and then you'll need that water bottle and your paintbrush in a little while. Okay, so how this works with our crayons and our watercolor, we'll create a wax resist. So anywhere where the waxy crayons are drawn onto the page will kind of push away the water in the watercolor. So all of those wax drawings will really pop through. It's going to look pretty neat. So what you need for this step is just your background, your watercolor paper, and your crayons. And we're going to start with the white. So since this painting is called Bridge Over a Pond of Water Lilies, the main focus is going to be this bridge. So take your white, and we're going to draw our bridge kind of in the middle of our paper here. With your white, go ahead and draw sort of an arch shape here. And I know it seems kind of silly, white crayon on white paper, what the heck, and it's kind of hard to see. But like I said, once we apply that watercolor, this wax is going to resist the water and the paint that's in the water, so it'll really pop out. It's going to look really cool. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but go ahead and get you an arch drawn in there, and you can go over it. You want to push it kind of hard, okay? Get a lot of wax down on your paper here. Okay, so there's one arch line, and let's draw another one. So now that you have your two arches, we'll go ahead and put in the railings. So for this, you just do up and down lines. Okay, you can space these apart however you want. Now, if you would like to add some highlights or shadows to your bridge, you can do that using another color. I'll show you how to do that in just a sec. You could outline it in another color if you'd like. That could look cool. What I'm gonna do is first create some shadows. So I'm gonna go underneath a little bit here, underneath this top arch, in between my railings. And I'm also going to put shadows on one side of my railings here, or the little, I guess, spindles maybe they would be. Okay, so if you want to create shadows like that, that would be the way to do it. So underneath and on one side. Okay, if there's shadows on this side, that means the light is coming from over here. So let's put in some highlights. I'm going to use yellow for this, but you can use whatever color you want. This side is going to be more bright and lit up. So I'm going to put these on this side. Okay, and if you want to do some other ones, let's see, let's do some highlight over here. Put shadow over on this side. I'm imagining my lights coming from over here, so trying to figure out where my highlights and where my shadows would be. Probably have some shadows underneath here, wouldn't we? Okay, totally up to you. If you can add these if you'd like, or you can just leave it white. It'll look really cool either way when we put the color on, the watercolor. Okay, so there's our bridge. Next step, we're gonna add, what's the other important thing in this painting? It was called Bridge Over a Pond of Water Lilies. So let's get some of those in there. Okay, so you can draw flowers down below. They don't have to be exact. Remember, Monet was an impressionist, so use some short, quick brush strokes. So your flowers can be really simple and quick like that. I'm just doing like a little cluster of up and down scribbles. Okay, I'm gonna make some different colored flowers. I've got some pink here, I've got some orange. I might do some white ones. Again, they're hard to see right now, but they'll pop out and look really cool in a little bit. Okay, so get you some flowers in, and don't forget those lily pads, really important part of this plant. And if you want to kind of think about this part of the page down here is closer to you, closer to the viewer of this painting. So the lily pads that are down towards the bottom of your page should be a little bit bigger than the ones that are up here. Okay, these are farther away from our eye, so they should be a little bit smaller. Okay, that's called perspective. Things seem bigger as they get closer to you and smaller as they get farther away. So you can kind of give that illusion that those are farther away by making them a little bit smaller. Okay, so go ahead and get lots of flowers, lots of clusters of lily pads, and then I'll show you the next step. If you remember, Monet's painting had lots of water lilies as well as some hanging willow tree branches. So if you want to create some of those up above, you can just make some kind of squiggly sort of lines hanging down. You can add some leaves to them if you'd like. Okay. We just want to give this painting, this artwork, a nice lush look to it. We want to make it feel like you are just in the most amazing garden, surrounded by plants and peacefulness. So notice though, I didn't put color in here to make a sky. I didn't put color in to make the water. That's what our watercolor is going to do for us, okay? So don't color in that stuff. We're just drawing in the bridge and all the plants, okay? All right, for these next steps, we're gonna add our water in the pond and then also our sky. So what you're gonna need is maybe a tray or some sort of paper down below your watercolor paper here, and then grab those watercolor crayons. For the water, we'll need some blue, maybe also a little bit of purple and green for some shadows and maybe some little bits of reflection. And then for the sky, this is going to be a nice sunny kind of maybe sunset time, nice, lots of color. Remember, that's what the Impressionists were all about, was capturing that moment in time. So we're going to capture a moment that's kind of a bright yellow, glowy sky. So yellow watercolor crayon, maybe a little bit of orange in there, and maybe even a little bit of red or pink to add a little to it. Okay, so all you're going to do is take your color here. We'll start with blue, and you are just going to rub this all over the bottom of your page. So everywhere where the water would be, okay, and you just rub it right over your crayon drawing. So under your bridge, all water. Okay, just right over the top of your crayon. Like that. Okay, like I said, if you want to add in a few bits of green, maybe these plants are from above are reflecting in our water. Okay, that looks kind of cool. You can add some purpley areas to create some shadows. Okay, so fill up the bottom area with watercolor crayon. Okay, and here in a little bit we'll get to the really fun part with the water. You can't have watercolor without water. Okay, and up on top, like I said, we're gonna do a lot of yellow. So go ahead and take your yellow, gonna rub it all over across the top of your plants. And also that yellow can kind of come in over our bridge, okay? That sky is gonna show through there. Have some glowy sunset sky shining through. It's gonna look really neat. Okay, fill it up. Lots and lots of yellow. Okay, and then if you wanna go in and get a little orange, wherever, just give it a little extra. You can get a little in here. Okay, there's no wrong way to do this, really. Remember, these colors, yellow and orange are neighbors, so they look great together. I'm gonna throw a little red up at the top here. Okay, so generally we have blue and its neighbors down below and yellow and its neighbors up above. And once you have that ready, you are ready for the water. Okay, for the final step, we're gonna grab our spray bottle, and you might wanna have your paintbrush handy to help it blend a little, but that's totally up to you. The water will blend it really well. It helps if you kind of take your paper, sometimes the paper is curled a little bit one way or the other, so it helps if you have a curl to your paper, just kind of give it a gentle curl in the other direction to sort of help it flatten out. So there we have a pretty flat paper for the most part. Now I'm gonna take that water bottle and you're just gonna spray all over. And everywhere that you applied watercolor crayon will start to blend together. And you can see your white starting to pop out and shine through, as well as your other crayon drawings, your other colors. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, so spray the whole page. Get all the water sprayed. Look at those starting to blend. Awesome. And if you want, you can go in with a brush and kind of help those colors. Make sure your page is nice and wet. And you can help those colors move around a little bit on the page with your paintbrush, okay? I would recommend, though, if you're using your paintbrush, remember we've got kind of yellows going on up here and darker blues and purples going on down here. So if you're gonna use a paintbrush, make sure you clean it off before you switch areas, okay? Especially if you do some water down below, if you're blending your purples and blues and greens, make sure you clean that off on a paper towel before you go up into your yellow sky, okay? You don't wanna take a bunch of purple up there with you. So go ahead and get that whole page sprayed and help it blend with your brush if you want. And your bridge over a pond of water lilies will be complete. Great work.